Hi guys, very welcome to Mentour, yet another video podcast. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic out there. So, I have brought you here to one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's the top of Mare del Deo del Mon in Catalonia, to talk to you about something that I find is really important. It's something that I've touched on previous podcasts, but I have been getting questions lately from people who feel that they're being put down by their loved ones. So people are saying that, you will never be able to achieve that goal, whatever you have, or something like that, and they feel like they're struggling with motivation. So I want to talk to you about something that is really important, and that is your attitude and how to keep a really positive attitude. All right. So this is something that I've had to work on really hard myself. Okay. First of all, you will always come across people who will tell you that something that you're doing is not possible. Okay, that the goal that you've set up for yourself is too high, or that you don't have the capacity to do something, or that you will never achieve something, or whatever like that. These people, they exist, and there are quite a few of them. All right, negativity works kind of like a drug. All right, negativity. You probably come across these people who are always clanking down on things, or if you're talking in a group and someone leaves the group, they are starting to say something negative about the person who left the group. All right, that's because negativity makes the person who are negative feel a little bit better for a couple of seconds. All right, the problem is that in order for that to continue, in order for that feeling to continue, they need to continue to find negative stuff to talk about. All right, they need to continue to complain about things. It's a very human thing. It tends to be something that makes people feel like they're connecting, right? So if you get together in a group and you talk about your boss, you tend to go the negative way, or your employer, or your job, or whatever it might be. It's always easier to be a little bit negative, and people tend to kind of flock to that for whatever reason. Now, it also has the negative characteristics of drugs. All right, it means that you need more of it. You need to constantly fuel that negativity in order to continue to feel good, and this is something that is extremely dangerous. Okay, it's like a spiral that goes downwards, and it never really stops, and it will make you feel miserable. And I'm talking out of pure experience here, guys. Like when I was in the very beginning of my career, I had just gotten this fantastic job flying the 737. But I was in a base where at the moment where I came there was a lot of potentially negative things happening. There was a lot of changes going on, and people were generally unhappy. So what ended up happening was that as an airline pilot, you tend to spend a lot of time in the air on routes where there's a lot of time to talk. Okay, and what happened was that people were starting to spread negativity, and they started to complain about their job. And when you spend 10 hours or 12 hours in a cockpit only talking about negative things, you start to notice that it impacts how you think about everything, everything in your life. So I found myself being 23 years old with my dream job, thinking that things were not very good, right? Thinking that, this sucks, basically. And then I started thinking, why? Why does it feel like things suck, even if I have this fantastic job, doing this fantastic thing that I've always wanted to do? Why is this? And I found out that was the problem. The problem was that people around me were fueling this negativity, and I was playing along because I wanted to be part of the team, so I kept talking about it as well. It just never stops. You have to stop it. Like, you have to take a conscious decision not to be negative, right? And this is really important because it will not happen by itself. You have to sit down and say, no more. You have to be positive. Okay, that doesn't mean that you are going to be positive and like everything that happens around you, but you have to find things that you are grateful for. Now, grateful is a very, very important word in this. Every one of us can be grateful, all right? Every one of us have things to be grateful for. It might be something as easy as the fact that you can walk by yourself, or that you have great friends around you, or that your family supports you, or that you get to see fantastic, beautiful things, or anything. You can all find something positive, something to be grateful for. And if you spend a couple of minutes a day being grateful, you will find that things around you start to change. right? Might sound strange, but when you start to be grateful about one thing, you will soon find that it's easier to be grateful for more things. And when you start smiling and when you start to consciously be positive, you'll find that more and more things walks your way. More and more things becomes positive. So it becomes a positive spiral. Instead of being something that pulls you down, it will lift you up. And all of a sudden, things are working for you. You know, good things happen. People are listening to you. And the fact is that if you are positive, it's more likely that people around you will like being around you. If you talk about things that you like, they will start to talk about things they like. If you talk about how much you like your job, they will as well. So positivity is something that, like I said from the beginning, is something that you have to work on, right? It will never happen by itself. But if you do, I promise you that you will feel much better. You will be more positive about what you're doing, and it's likely that you're going to be more successful at what you're doing, because it will impact your working life as well. So I cannot overemphasize how important your attitude is. And this is also something that I really want to emphasize. Negative people tend to view themselves as victims of their surroundings, victims of their situation. They would say stuff like, oh, well, I cannot change this, you know, this is bad and I cannot do anything about it. That's wrong. 9 times out of 10, you can change it, okay? If you find that you don't like your job or you don't like your school, change it. Stop what you're doing, do something else. That might come with its own problems, but I guarantee you that if it is something that makes you feel bad, you need to change it, all right? No one is going to change it for you, and it will not change by itself, but you can change it. You can say stop. You can go in and say, this far, no longer. That's what I did. That base that I was at, I thought, this is not going to change. I need to either change my job, you know, be something else than a pilot, change my airline, change my base. Okay. And what I ended up doing was that I applied for a training position, and I managed to, after a few interviews, get that job. And that changed everything. Overnight, suddenly the job was much more interesting. People around me were much more positive, and things got better. But it does take a conscious decision to get yourself there. So remember, if you remember anything from this podcast today, is that spend a few minutes a day thinking about things that you're grateful about. It can be small things, but do it. A couple of minutes a day, think about how grateful you are for X. Okay. Try to be positive. Never gossip. Don't talk shit about other people. It will just come back to you. Okay. If you do it to other people, people will do it to you, and you don't like that. So don't gossip. If people are starting to go down the route of talking in negative terms, complaining about stuff, stop it. Talk about something you like. Just stop it in its tracks, because it will not lead to anything good. And you know this because you will have met people who are like this. Those are kind of the main points that I wanted you to take with you from today's podcast. I really love interacting with you guys, so keep sending me your messages. Keep subscribing to the channel. Share the channel with people that you think needs to hear what I'm saying. I'll be doing much more technical videos, much more videos. I cannot promise that I will do videos from inside of the cockpit, but I will definitely try to. We'll see what my employer says. For now, I'm just going to kick back and relax a little bit here, and then I'm going to go home to my lovely family. I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.